Imagine staring at an empty prison bed, realizing a phantom inmate escaped your maximum security fortress. In the chilly summer of 1962, 3 desperate men pulled off the impossible jailbreak. They did not use weapons or force. Instead, they completely chiseled through concrete walls. The fortress island was considered absolutely inescapable, surrounded by freezing, deadly ocean currents daily. Our true crime story begins with a brilliant bank robber arriving at the Rock. Frank possessed an incredibly high intelligence score, immediately analyzing every structural weakness. He quickly recruited 2 brothers who possessed advanced aquatic skills from rural upbringing. Together, the trio initiated a meticulously planned engineering project inside their narrow cells. They used discarded industrial vacuum motors to construct a crude, functioning power drill. Night after night, the mechanical drilling sounds were masked by the prison music hour. They slowly widened the narrow vent openings until a human body could slide through. To fool the midnight guard patrols, they engineered a brilliant psychological decoy strategy. They collected actual human hair from the barbershop floor to glue onto scalps. The realistic dummy heads were placed carefully inside cots beneath the heavy wool blankets. Behind the cells lay a secret workshop area within the dark utility corridor structure. They accumulated over 50 vulcanized rubber raincoats to manufacture their primary escape craft. Using hot steam pipes, they cleanly melted the raincoat seams together into a raft. On the stormy night of June 11th, the historic breakout plan was initiated. The 3 men slid through their respective wall vents, leaving the dummy heads behind. They scaled the high utility shaft to reach the roof area of the prison. Massive prison searchlights cut violently through the thick, blinding fog over the roofline. Slipping down a large drainage pipe, they bypassed the armed guard towers completely undetected. They reached the desolate shoreline, inflating their makeshift rubber raft using a small accordion bellows. At precisely midnight, the 3 men pushed off into the icy, churning bay waters. They vanished directly into the dark, never to be seen alive by law enforcement again. The morning guard patrol discovered the decoy heads when the inmates failed to stand. Warden Blackwell immediately initiated a massive, historical lockdown across the entire island territory. Military helicopters and FBI tracking units swarmed the San Francisco coastline for weeks. They located fragments of rubberized raincoat material floating near the desolate Angel Island shoreline. The physical clues suggested the makeshift craft may have broken apart under intense currents. Official FBI reports concluded that the 3 fugitives tragically drowned within an hour. They argued the freezing water temperature would cause severe hypothermia muscle failure instantly. But alternative theories suggest a completely different, far more successful narrative took place instead. A mysterious vehicle was reported stolen from the nearby Mainland Park area that morning. The family of the Anglin brothers received cryptic, unsigned holiday postcards for decades. Handwriting analysis checks proved highly inconclusive, keeping the international search files actively open. In 2013, a chilling letter surfaced, allegedly written by John himself. The author claimed that all 3 men survived the freezing crossing completely intact. He stated he was living in hiding, suffering from advanced stage cancer development. The U.S. Marshals Service reopened the forensic files, running advanced facial recognition sweeps. The final truth remains securely locked away inside the icy currents of history. Alcatraz stands today as a decaying tourist monument, a fortress beaten by 3 spoons. To fully comprehend this escape engineering, we must analyze the cell block structural layout. The utility corridor behind the cells was completely unmonitored by regular guard shifts. This fatal design flaw provided the perfect hidden workshop zone for the trio. They worked systematically for over 2 years to aggregate their essential survival materials. Frank mapped out every step with the cold calculation of an elite chess player. The execution of the plan required absolute, flawless synchronization between all 3 cells. A single mistake would mean permanent solitary confinement inside the dark dungeon cells below. The psychological strain of the waiting process broke many regular inmates completely, but the escape group maintained total absolute discipline through their shared aquatic dream. Let us look at the financial fallout that struck the Federal Bureau of Prisons. The massive investigation drained millions from the state public safety funds within months. Warden Blackwell faced intense political pressure from Washington to immediately close the facility. The inescapable myth of the island fortress was completely ruined by the execution. In less than a year, Alcatraz officially closed its iron doors forevermore. The inmates were transferred to modern inland penitentiaries across the dynamic country landscape. The dark corridors fell into a silence that lasted for multiple decades. The files were officially archived, an open wound across the history of law enforcement. The mystery of their survival continues to breathe inside the Dark Night Valley. Let us analyze the forensic analysis conducted on the crude makeshift paddles recovered. Investigators located unique structural markings matching the workshop wood supplies perfectly. The precision construction proved the escapees had access to advanced industrial assembly tools. This indicates a severe lack of guard supervision within the central maintenance spaces. The enforcers had grown incredibly lazy, trusting the island's natural water barrier entirely. The clever inmates weaponized this arrogance to achieve their final absolute freedom objective. Modern true crime researchers utilize computer fluid dynamics to map the current flows. The simulation data shows a launch at midnight would sweep them toward Marin County. This matches the exact location coordinates where the stolen vehicle report was filed. The pieces fit together into a flawless mosaic of a successful execution strategy. Yet, the official narrative refuses to admit the system could be beaten so cleanly. They prefer the myth of death rather than admit 3 fugitives won the war. The secrets of Alcatraz are safely frozen inside the winter of historic crime logs. The names of the escapees are etched permanently into the lore of global culture. Their stories serve as a warning about the fragility of absolute physical control structures. Real monsters do not always use violence to smash through your reinforced security systems. They use patience, calculation, and ordinary spoons to slide away into the dark night. The files are closed, but the shadow continues to breathe inside the bay fog. Let us look out one final time at the beautiful but deadly island ruins. Somewhere out there, 3 old men might be sharing the ultimate historical secret today. They lived out their days in total anonymity, answering to no government agency ever again. They achieved the perfect execution, leaving only an enduring legacy of raw mystery behind. This case challenges everything about modern security design logic and tracking protocols completely. How does a target vanish completely inside a small-town network for decades? Perhaps the surrounding citizens chose to look away from the ugly structural reality. The definitive answers have turned to dust, buried under decades of ocean silence. The ultimate jailbreak remains an iron lock without any remaining physical key structure. Let us examine the psychological profiling notes compiled on Mastermind Frank Morris. He was described as a highly clinical individual, completely detached from emotional reactions. This calculated emotional coldness allowed him to handle extreme isolation stress smoothly. He viewed the prison walls as a complex puzzle layout to be broken methodically. He manipulated the other inmates seamlessly, using them to acquire rare mechanical resources. This strategic foresight points to a mind operating at an elite structural capacity. The family of the Anglin brothers still maintains that the men survived entirely safely. They point toward a mysterious photograph taken in Brazil during the late 70s. Independent photo experts verified the facial dimensions matched the brothers' skeletal data. The evidence suggests they built a completely new life sanctuary in South America. They escaped the reach of federal law, leaving only an open file box behind. The case remains a legendary monument to the power of human ingenuity. 3 men against an empire of concrete, iron bars, and freezing dark sea. The heavy wooden doors are closed forever on the definitive eyewitness confirmation. The files are cold, but the memory continues to flip pages inside dark. Let us look out one final time at the beautiful but deadly San Francisco woods. Somewhere out there, the answers are buried deep under decades of heavy silt. The soil has completely swallowed any remaining physical trace structure of the raft. The phantom escapees of Alcatraz have secured their place among legendary true crime entities. True crime researchers will continue to analyze the faded records for new clues daily. They map out the coordinates, searching for a tracking mistake made early. Every document is analyzed, from the chemical footprint data to unique tool cuts. But after nearly a century, the trail has gone completely, totally cold. The ultimate truth is safely frozen inside the silent graves of deep history. The names of the victims serve as a reminder of a dynamic nightmare. A nightmare that completely paralyzed an entire bureau system and defeated a legend. The files are closed, but the shadow continues to breathe inside dark night. Real monsters do not always hide underneath your bed in the quiet. They walk among us in plain sight, waiting for the perfect opportunity. the terrifying mystery of the rock will remain unyielding for ever more times. What do you believe happened out on those dark rails? Leave a comment below.